So what is going on, guys? NativePrince93 here with another video, and today I'm going to walk you guys through my iPad only, or my all iPad desk setup. And I think it's come out amazingly well. I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks on both all the hardware and software that I use to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my iPad, and make sure that I'm taking up this entire 29-inch ultra-wide screen. But let's get right into it. So like I mentioned, guys, the setup to this is actually pretty easy. So the main thing that you need is some sort of USB-C hub, and right now I'm using the Stone 2 by Bridge. Yes, the company that made the keyboard case that failed for the iPad Pro, but they actually make really good USB-C hubs and Thunderbolt 3 hubs that I highly recommend you guys check out. But this is, again, the Stone 2. It has an Ethernet, 3 USB-As, a USB-C for power pass-through, another USB-C to obviously connect to the iPad, and then it has an HDMI as well. So that's what I use pretty much to make this happen. And then outside of that, I have my Satechi compact keyboard. I have my MX Anywhere S2 that I use as the mouse and keyboard when I'm not using the Magic Keyboard, because the Magic Keyboard's off to the side right now, and I like to have it all by itself when it comes to just a purely desk setup, right? Because I want to make sure that we can get the iPad Pro to be a desktop solution as well. And I actually have the iPad Pro sitting on a Satechi stand. And I actually love this stand because it kind of gives you every single angle that you would ever need for an iPad Pro, or any tablet for that matter. So I can go at pretty much any angle that I would want. So I can go almost as low as 0 degrees, so almost flat on the table, which is great for when I'm taking notes or if I need to jot down some stuff with the actual Apple Pencil. Also, shout out to channel sponsor Paperlike for always keeping our screen protected and making our screens feel like paper, as they always do, guys. After that, I can also use that same stand to prop it up to almost 90 degrees so I get good viewing angles and use both of the screens at once. So I just love the versatility of that stand. I have the Satechi one, and also link a couple other cheaper ones down below that don't give you as much radius in terms of what angle you can use, but it gets you 90% of the way there as well. But the Satechi one is actually outstanding. And then the actual monitor that I have is an LG ultra-wide 29-inch. I'll put the part number down in the description below because I forget exactly what it was. I got it at Sam's Club about 3-4 months ago, and it's been awesome. This is the first wide or ultra-wide screen that I've ever owned, and so far so good, guys. I've been enjoying it thoroughly for both on the iPad OS side, and on the Mac OS side. And then if you guys do know that whenever you do plug in your iPad Pro into an HDMI cord, if the HDMI that it's going to, if that screen does not have built-in speakers, then it's going to default to that screen and you can't use your iPad Pro speakers. So the solution to that is a Bluetooth speaker, and what I use right now is a HomePod Mini off to the right of it, and I've been loving that as well, guys. And it's an easy pair up, easy solution to get some sound out of there. And then the next thing that I do want to show you guys is actually how I get the full wide angle or the full ultra wide monitor filled up with content from the iPad Pro. So I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer to check that out. So everybody, you can see that I'm actually using the iPad Pro down here. You can see the mouse is moving around. If you guys can actually see that on my screen, I'll slow it down. You can see that I have the mouse here, and I'm actually using a full widescreen. And now it is mirroring the display, which is something that we're used to with the external display on the iPad Pro, but you can see that it's actually taking up the entirety of the screen and there's no black bars. So I'm going to show you guys the difference. So this is when I go to the regular home screen, right? You have an immense black bar on both the right and left, and even some smaller ones on the top and bottom, which is, again, it would give me no point to actually get an LG monitor this wide if I'm going fully iPad, but thanks to an app called Shift Screen, which you guys have seen on the channel, you guys have actually really enjoyed that, it allows me to actually make the screen full screen. So you got to give it a second to populate, and then boom, voila, I'm in full screen mode with full mouse support as if it's a normal actual desktop computer. I can click on everything, go to the trending, go to subscriptions, go to my library. I can even go up here, the address bar, change it up. Let's go to ESPN.com. And here we are with a full screened ESPN.com, which is awesome to see, right? Like, we've been yearning and wanting this for a very long time on the iPad Pro, and I do think that it's going to come at some point. I think they're going to put the M1 or M1X chips in the next iPad Pros to make it a little bit more compatible with full screen adoption, but this is what we get for now. This is a great workaround in order to kind of get full screen. And the beauty of this is that it's not just for content consumption, right? You're able to actually go in here. So for instance, if I want to open up a second window, let's pop open a new window down here. I can actually go in here, and there's a web applications that I can use to actually go into. So if I wanted to go to Microsoft Office and add a new window, for instance, I'm brought into Microsoft Office, and I can use the entire Office suite, at least the web version of it, through this portal right here, which is awesome to see, and I can use it in full screen. And on top of that, I can even add more windows. So if I needed to add another window, all I would have to do is click on this YouTube right here, and all of a sudden I'm working on something with Microsoft Office, and then I'm also watching something on YouTube, guys. So that is Shift Screen in a nutshell. This gives you full screen access to web applications. It's not just for content consumption and fun. You can actually use it to get work done on a full screen monitor through your iPad Pro, which is something that you could not do about a year ago. So shout out to Shift Screen for that one. So there you have it, guys. That was my all iPad Pro desk setup, and I've been using that desk setup for a very long time. That's the same workflow that I've used all year in terms of actually editing my videos. So I edit my videos on the actual iPad Pro. Sometimes I use a secondary display, sometimes I do it just on the iPad Pro. But again, my iPad Pro is my full computer. Yes, I have a MacBook Air, but that's for work purposes that I need that for. But for the YouTube channel, for everything that I do, both on the creative side, content consumption side, it's all done on the iPad with the Magic Pencil and with the iPad Pro and with the Magic Keyboard, guys. And I'm still a big advocate of the iPad Pro, and I still recommend it to a lot of people because it's hard to beat that form factor and the versatility of what the iPad is versus the MacBook Air. And yes, the MacBook Air is, you know, giving the iPad a run for its money, and it's probably the better buy, but the iPad Pro is still my main computer and will be my main computer until something else crazy happens, guys. But that is gonna do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, peace.